Can you talk more about that? Because I was going to ask you that question anyways. I look at you as a guy that kind of figured out how to take care of himself, the right way, and you talked about longevity and prolonging your career. I think you've now wrapped up 12 NHL seasons, and you seem to keep getting better. Arguably, this year might have been your best season point production wise out of all 12, maybe minus one of those years in Toronto, but it also it just goes to what you're doing off the ice. I know I've spoken to some of the younger guys on the Flyers, and they look up to you as you're kind of like the alternative veteran. You're kind of in your own little world of like these things that you get into, and I really appreciate that, and I've kind of learned this world after I retired. But can you talk to like what you're doing? Because the evolution
Yeah.
of training went from like heavy lifting and pounding your joints and stressing your body out to almost this more restorative, type of approach to training.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is something I'm super passionate about. Could definitely talk your ear off about. But I think for me, it's just uh, obviously I love the game, and I've always just growing up, even just was always doing things, whether it's in the driveway, shooting pucks or jumping rope. I was lucky enough to have coaches kind of at a younger age be like, "Hey, we're going to do some push-ups and sit-ups and box jumps," and just pretty basic basic stuff at that point, but I was kind of always intrigued by that and just the different kind of factors that would go into performance that were away from just your time that you'd be on the ice at practice or playing the game. So I think I was always kind of interested in it, and then going to the national program, they kind of ingrain that that kind of commitment that it takes and that schedule that it takes. And how hard you have to work. And like you said, I think that was more of when I first got introduced to a lot of this stuff. It was a lot of, again, heavy lifting, a way different style of training than what I do now. So that part, the evolution of that has been pretty interesting. So I think, again, I always try to surround myself and meet different people who come from different perspectives as far as performance and things like that, and different things they may be able to teach you and things you can learn from yourself by putting yourself in these different situations. So definitely been able to pick up a bunch of different things kind of over the course of my career. But I think, like you mentioned before, it's a lot of kind of restorative based stuff. And just, again, just maintaining that kind of elasticity and pliability that your body kind of has and wants to maintain. And ultimately, again, we put a lot of stress on our bodies by doing a very unnatural thing like skating and playing hockey. So again, with all the kind of I guess the load that puts on you, that you want to make sure you're doing things to kind of again help restore and help recovery and things like that. So it's kind of having that fine balance of knowing the times when to push, knowing the times when to give your body some love, I guess,
Yeah,
to
right.
really help
Yeah.
recovery and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely always something I'm constantly learning about.
I love it.
No, I think like you said, it's like trying to work smart, and obviously everyone wants to work hard, but yeah, you got to find ways to so you can find that translation. I think for me, the biggest thing that I kind of started to realize is that, like, yeah, I want to work hard, but if something I'm doing isn't translating onto the ice, then I need to start to reevaluate and figure something else out. But you're actually kind of reminding me now of a good story of those movement stuff, because like, again, when I think the guys in Toronto who I had played with there, it was kind of like that evolution of, they kind of saw me do things and saw things adjust and knew that I was really into it. So nothing that I really did was ever that much of a shock. So like my first year back in Philly, like, obviously I hadn't been there in 6 years, and most of the guys, again, a lot of these things I developed just as I went to Toronto and kind of, again, started to figure more of these things out for myself. But guys were like looking at me like I know, and probably like chirping me when in the locker room when I'm not in there, like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? But no, so like we're at our like rookie party, and like, again, obviously it's one of those things where you guys all know it's like sometimes we'll get someone up there to maybe say a joke or
Yeah, yeah.
sing their college fight song or whatever. And then I guess all the guys got together, and they did like a little skit where it was basically them doing like a dance. I forget what song it was now, but they were basically doing my whole warm up routine, like dancing to a certain song. And like, it was actually pretty
That's
funny,
great.
pretty good. I
That's
wish there was
great.
a video of it,
Oh
but
my
no, these
God.
guys were probably like, what the hell is going on? But now, like you said, I think now a few different guys over the course of my time back in Philly now have definitely again, you start to ask you some questions and pick your brain. I think that's the great part about being on a team sport, because obviously in my situation, you learn different things from the guys you played with, particularly when you're younger, and to be a good influence on younger guys and to kind of help them along in their process to try to maximize what they want to be as a player. I think that's part of being a good teammate and stuff like that too. So it's definitely something now. I know that's probably part of my role on the team, is just, again, being a good influence and trying to, again, set a good example about being a good pro, and trying to make sure you're ready to play and practice and stuff every day to the best of your ability.
Yeah. Well, I think you have more influence than you think. I mean, like not just 12 years in the show, but like you're kind of embodying your experience, as you go, and it's translating. Like that's the biggest thing. It's not that you're just not doing something and then you're just like the same. Like I didn't watch you as closely as I did this year. Your previous 6 years with Toronto. I know you had some really good years there. Point production wise, but you seem stronger than I remember, and like I don't know, I say faster. You just like this year. I mean, we talked about you a lot on this podcast. We're just like, you're always kind of like that consistent player that you always showed up, and you kind of expected. We got what you expected out of you, right? Because you just seem to be moving and efficient, and knowing what you're doing, it makes a ton of sense. And like I said at the start, your best year production wise, I mean, you only played 56 games this year, was this year. And like to Nassi's point, like you're getting better with, you're like a fine wine. You're getting better with age. So, I'm circling back to what I wanted to get at, was just that these young guys should be extremely grateful to have you around the locker room, because it's like, you're obviously a very coachable guy, you're a good guy, you're easygoing, good teammate, and then you got this other dimension of you're doing it differently, but in a wise way. And I think the organization itself can learn a lot from you as an individual. So props to you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that, guys.
I think it's really good for these kids, like you said, Riley, seeing Riemer do that, and it's probably not, I don't know if what they're doing in colleges, but it's not like Riemer, like we're kidding around saying like some of the guys would be chirping you. Well, it's the older guys, right? Because that's just, poor Jakey, and we said it with Jakey. Jakey can't touch his toes unless unless he's sitting in a chair and he touches it. But it's things that do translate. And I mean, you're obviously a highly skilled hockey player anyway. But these things, you have to stay in shape. You have to be able to move, like you said. Like, you're in a tough. Like people say, oh, like this guy's. You're in a tough area. Like you're in front of the net. Like I don't care what anybody says. The game's not like it was when Prongs was playing, where you're gonna wear fucking 10 on your back and nothing's called. I mean, you're still paying a price in front of the net. And not just goal scoring too, Riemer. Not to just keep pumping your tires here, but
I'll keep it going.
Right. Yeah. Did you need an agent? Did you need an agent?
Yeah, get this.
I need a job, bro.
I might record this and play it before every game just to get myself feeling good.
You can come on every week, No, but seriously, besides the goal scoring and like you see the ice really well, you can pass, like you do it all, man. And you're a big body in front of the net there, and power play. You just, this year was awesome. Even your first year back, you almost had 30 goals. And what did we play that year? 65, 66 games. I mean, like you just, it's working what you're doing. So keep doing it. I mean, obviously you worked hard as a kid, and you still work on your skills and all that stuff as well. But this extra part, like Riley's saying, is huge. And I think it's good for those kids to see it. Morgan Frost, Farabee, Wade Allison coming in. What a treat he is, eh? I love that.
He's
kid.
a character too.
I talked to him yesterday. He is just so funny, that kid. But anyway, props to you, man. Like you're just getting better and better, and I expect this to keep going for a long time, buddy.